Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks to viewers, supporters, and sponsors just like you. We're on a break for the Christmas holidays, so we thought we would count down the top 10 news stories of 2017. We're on 6 and 5 today. We've got lots of great things to talk about. Let's get started. The sixth biggest news story of 2017 is all that behind-the-scenes trouble with the Star Wars franchise. Back in the summer, Lucasfilm abruptly fired Han Solo movie directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller and replaced them with veteran filmmaker Ron Howard, and this happened after the film had already been shooting for several months. There are rumors that the reason Lord and Miller were fired is that they butted heads with Disney and Lucasfilm about the tone of the film. They wanted to make it more comedic like their previous films, while the studio executives wanted a more traditional Star Wars adventure. There are also rumors that Lord and Miller were taking too long to shoot certain scenes, with Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy in particular becoming very concerned about how much time they were taking. Ron Howard is scrambling to finish the film, and there are conflicting reports about just how much of it had to be reshot now that he's in charge. The film's release date of May 25th, 2018 hasn't changed, so we won't have to wait too long to find out if the film will be a success.
I'm not going anywhere.
That wasn't the only big behind-the-scenes shakeup on a Star Wars movie. A few months after the Han Solo debacle, Disney and Lucasfilm also fired another director, Colin Trevorrow, who was set to write and direct Episode 9. Like with Han Solo, there are reports that Trevorrow had similar clashes with the studio about the direction of the film, and whenever a filmmaker goes up against a big studio, it's usually the studio who wins.
More like suicide.
Trevorrow was replaced with J.J. Abrams, who helmed Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and the release date of the new film was pushed back to December 2019 in order to give him more time to tweak the script. Disney and Lucasfilm have had great financial success with their recent Star Wars movies, but all these behind-the-scenes troubles don't look good for anyone. Hopefully things will go more smoothly in the future. They recently announced an entire Star Wars spin-off trilogy headed by The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson, which will take place in an unexplored corner of the Star Wars galaxy and focus on a new group of characters. Don't expect to see that for at least a few more years. Over in the Star Wars video game galaxy, there was an even bigger shakeup. Electronic Arts surprised everyone by pulling the planned single-player Star Wars game from Dead Space developer Visceral Games and Uncharted director Amy Hennig. They moved the project over to another subsidiary, EA Canada in Vancouver, where it's getting completely retooled from a single-player Uncharted-style linear adventure into a broader, more open-ended online game similar to the Destiny franchise. Worst of all, coinciding with the move, EA also shut down Visceral Games, closing the studio for good. They still haven't said if Amy Hennig is staying at EA, so they might give her another project, but we'll have to wait and see. The new Star Wars game, whatever it is, still doesn't have a release window. And believe it or not, that wasn't the biggest controversy for Star Wars this year, not by a long shot. The fifth biggest story of 2017 is, you guessed it, the disastrous launch of Star Wars Battlefront 2. In case you've blocked it out of your head, it's all about loot boxes and microtransactions. When the game's beta test took place, players all over the world were furious to discover that the progression system relied on a complicated assortment of randomized loot boxes, which you need in order to unlock new characters, weapons, and gear. Some players also pointed out that because of the randomized nature of the loot boxes, you might have to grind for dozens of hours just to unlock a specific character that you want, but if you paid money through microtransactions, you could unlock the same character in no time at all. Many accused EA of setting up the progression system in order to encourage people to do just that, which didn't go over well. The game received an unprecedented backlash on social media, forcing EA to rethink the progression system and make it faster and easier for players to earn characters for free. It wasn't enough to end the controversy though, so mere hours before the game was released, EA and developer DICE abruptly suspended all microtransactions, making it impossible for anyone to spend money in order to unlock content. This didn't really help either, because the game is still getting pummeled online, with many saying that the progression system is still needlessly cumbersome despite the absence of microtransactions. The first sales figures don't look that good either, so EA is going to have to work hard if they want to win players back. Battlefront 2 isn't the only game this year to receive criticism for its microtransactions and loot boxes, but it has suffered the worst. The controversy has opened up a whole new conversation about microtransactions and loot boxes in games, and whether or not they should be classified as a form of in-game gambling. Thanks to Battlefront 2, you can expect that EA and other publishers will be a lot more apprehensive about including microtransactions and loot boxes in their games going forward. That wraps up the rundown for today, and guess what? Got some good news for you. We're going to have a brand new rundown tomorrow, and it's absolutely free. No loot boxes involved. But in the meantime, we've got lots of other content for you to check out, so please do that. If you dig it, hit subscribe. There's a little bell you got to hit as well. And if you're so inclined, we've got a sponsorship button too. Thanks for watching.